Okay, welcome to day 2. The goal of this lesson is twofold. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and find the value of a specific term. For example, find the value of the 8th term, find the value of the 10th term, find the value of the 20th term. The second thing that we're going to do is we are going to create an equation that we could use then to find the value of any term that we so desire. Okay, so reminder right here at the beginning here that an arithmetic sequence is occurring anytime that there is a common difference d between any two consecutive terms. So I'm opening up with this idea of, given the sequence 3, 8, 13, 18, 23, and 28, how would you find the value of the 100th term without actually writing out all 100 terms? If we had to think about this for a second. Well, reminding ourselves about the arithmetic sequence, we notice that between each of the terms, we are going up by a value of 5. Okay, well, how many times would we have to add 5 in order to get to our 100th term? Well, let's think about that. Well, we're given a starting term, so if we wanted to find the second term, we would only add 5 once. If we wanted to find the third term, we would add 5 twice. If we wanted to say find the 6th term out here of 28, we would add 5 times. So notice that we are adding 5, one less than the number of terms that we so desire. So what that means is that if we knew the starting number 3 and we added 5 99 times, then we could then find the value of the 100th term. So that's the idea, and that leads us into our very first equation down here, that the value of any term that we so desire, that's a sub n, is equal to the value of the first term plus the number of terms minus 1 that we desire, and then times the common difference of d. Alright, real quick, just so you guys understand, when it does come to a quiz and a test, we will be giving you these formulas, okay? But you have to understand which formula to use, because it's not going to label which formula is which, and then you have to know how to use them. So that's what we're going to practice here right now. Okay? Alright, so let's go to our very first example. Okay? Beyond the given one. Okay, in example 2, the goal here is to find the value of the 20th term of the arithmetic sequence, given 3, 10, 17, and 24. Alright. Well, if we take a look at our formula that we have up here, okay, we're going to take the information that we are given and let's label. Okay, so first thing is our first term is going to be a 3. Okay, the common difference, hopefully you see that the common difference is a 7. That we're adding 7, adding 7, adding 7 every single time. And since we are seeking the 20th term, n, which is the number of terms, is equal to 20. So now, that means that if I want to find the value of the 20th term, a sub n, okay, a sub n is the value of the 20th term, that's equal to the first term plus 20 minus 1 times our common difference of 7. Okay, if we do the math on that, we're going to end up with a 3 plus 19 times 7, so the value of the 20th term is going to equal a 136. Okay, so that means the value of the 20th term is 136. Now we could have done that by adding 7 to 24 and adding 7 to 31 and done that, you know, another 16 times. But this, as you can see, is a lot faster. Okay? Alright, so let's go on to example 3. You're supposed to find the value of the indicated term. Well, since they're telling us that n is equal to 9, that means they want us to find the value of the 9th term. Alright, we're still going to use the same formula of up above, and that is we're going to take the first term, and then we're going to add the number of terms that we want, and we're going to subtract 1 and multiply by the common difference. So, the value of the 9th term in this case, since the first term is negative 4, they didn't give us a sequence, but they basically told us, hey, the first term is negative 4. Okay, then we're going to add 9 minus 1, because n is equal to 9. And then, since our common difference is 6, we're going to multiply by 6. Alright, just reminders on, you know, order of operations here. Make sure that you're subtracting inside the parentheses first, then multiplying by the 6, and adding the negative 4 at the end. So if we do this, we're going to end up with a negative 4 plus 8 times 6. Okay, and then that should yield that the value of the 9th term is going to equal a 44. Okay, so we figured out the value of the 9th term is 44. Alright, you're going to try example 4 on your own, so this is a great time to pause the video. When you do start it up again, I will give you the answer, but I will not show the work. So, in order to get credit for your notes, you're going to have to make sure that you're showing your work as you go through these. So just giving you a heads up on that. Okay, you should have figured out that the value of the 20th term, since they were asking for the value of the 20th term, is equal to a negative 137. If you did not get that, please come with questions tomorrow in class. Okay? Alright, we're going to go ahead and move on to the okay? Alright, so the second piece of this is we are going to write an equation for the nth term. So that means that we can now use this equation to find the value of any term that we so desire. So big thing that you have to understand here, and you know, I kind of put an example here, is you're always going to have an n when you're done. So a sub n is always going to be part of your answer, okay, because you're finding an equation, and then you should always have a value of n 100% of the time. Okay, so that creates our equation. Alright, I'm going to just put our equation from the first page right here just so that we have it. So reminder that a sub n is equal to the first term plus n minus 1 times d. So we have to remember to use this as we go. Okay. So in example 5, if I take a look at the information that they gave us, okay, I can see that the first term is a negative 8. I should be able to determine that the common difference here is equal to a positive 2 because it looks like it's going up 2 and up 2. And really that's all I need. Okay, so I have, using my formula over here, a sub n is equal to the first term, negative 8, plus n minus 1 times 2 for d. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to distribute and combine like terms. So a sub n is equal to negative 8 plus, if I distribute the 2, I get 2n, distribute the 2 and I get negative 2. And then combine like terms, a sub n is equal to 2n and minus 10. Remember that you're adding a negative 2 over here. So a sub n is equal to 2n minus 10. 2n minus 10. Notice it is very similar to the example that I put up there. Alright, let's do one more example, just because it's a little bit different. Okay, again, we're writing the equation. They gave us a couple of pieces of information here. Alright, so similar to what I did up at the top, okay, in terms of, you know, labeling what we know and what we don't know, the first thing that I see is that they did not give us the value of the first term. So what that means is I am going to have to find it. So if I were to use a sub n equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, the value of the last term, okay, and I talked about this in the previous lesson, is going to be 11. So when they say this, a sub 6, okay, is going to be our last term or our given term. So they're telling us that n is equal to 6. Now, this value is 11, so this goes in the a sub n spot. Okay, our first term we don't know. Okay, but we do know that n is equal to 6. Okay, we just kind of figured that out. Right, minus 1, and then our common difference, they spell out for us, is a negative 10. So now, I can solve for my first term and then turn around and use that in order to come up with our equation. So 11 is equal to our first term plus 5 times negative 10. That's negative 50. If I add the negative 50 to 11, I get our first term to be a 61. Okay? Hopefully I don't have to go through all that work for that. But now, what I am going to do is I am going to take this information and I'm going to take our common difference, just like we did in the previous example, and now I'm going to write an equation. So a sub n is equal to our first term, which we figured out is 61, plus n minus 1, and our common difference we figured out is negative 10 because they gave it to us. So a sub n is equal to 61 minus 10n, if I distribute the negative 10, and then plus 10. Combining like terms, a sub n is equal to a negative 10n plus 71. And there's my equation. Okay. I tend to always put the n value first and then our constant. So if you want to just try and follow that lead, that would be great. Okay. Alright, so last example you are going to do on your own. Okay. So that's why I have the stop there. But I will tell you that your final answer is going to be an a sub n equal to a negative 9n plus 21. Now, it is your goal to come up with the work in order to produce that. So, having just the answer is not going to be good enough. I'm telling you that ahead of time. Okay? Good luck, and then come with questions tomorrow.